that happen. It will be able to pull the wagon. Look at it. Yes, pull it will. But it will not be hard.
There's nothing we can do now. We must get the wounded out of here first.
Are we? Look at it. All ablaze.
Go! Quick!
Oh,
Quick! Ka! Nice and... God be with you. Keep the peace.
Good people, refrain from... Satan is going around our city.
You're always welcome here.
Chains! Strong chains! Iron and steel! Take your pick! Excellent. It was a pleasure doing business with you, sir.
I'll have a look.
Let's talk. What? Here? Well, thank you, sir. Come again.
Verdammt hochnäsig. Sei gegrüßt, mein Herr. Ich bin gleich bei dir.
Show me. Word about the...
Ei. Danke und viel Glück für die Zukunft, mein Herr.
What do you... I'd like to do something...
Ei. Thank you, sir. And come again. Can't be here.
What's that noise? I was beginning to worry what that was. But it's just you.
Hey?
A wonderful day for a wonderful purchase.
The laws of God and of the city, for whom nothing is sacred.
What does it look like?
And see the fate. Last night, emboldened by food, he tried to break into a respectable and chaste woman's parlour. He bellowed and banged on the door so much that the poor woman feared for her life and
Go and see the prince.
and taunted
Nobody else.
another with the foulest insults imaginable. Take a good look at the lecherous strut and let
You'll have... Let's... Ja, das ist... Finally... Danke. Das war ein gutes Geschäft, mein Herr.
Show me.
Word about...
Hi. Danke und viel Glück für die Zukunft, mein...
What do you have? Let's talk about...
Why? I'm glad you found what you were looking for, sir.
Finest wares, quality goods. Come and take a gander.
Don't
We've
be-
got it all.
Good day, sir. What do you have? Word about the... Huh. Here. Many thanks. I was glad to be... Give help
Take
to
a
you, good
look.
sir.
The finest mugs. Mugs for sale.
Come and take your...
Pots for sale.
What is it, Mutt? Quick! God! God! God!
Whoa.
God! God! Go!
quick. Go!
Quality goods.
Go! Go! Whoa! Whoa!
I reckon What would you like, sir? Show me your... You'll have to get... How much do you... You see? I'm glad you found what you were looking for, sir.
whistler. Greetings to you.
I'm with you.
Henry! You have no idea how glad I am to see you alive and all in one piece. I was really worried about you.
Sorry.
I prayed to Our Lady the Protector to watch over you in Kuttenberg. It's good she heard my pleas.
Thanks for putting in a good word. It definitely came in handy, because it wasn't nice at all. Lots of violence and death, countless foes. We could have easily kicked the bucket any moment.
God damn! What happened there?
I don't know if words are enough. Simply, it was just like Skalitz. Confusion, screaming, dying, and then the flames. The worst part came when the gate fell. It was as if the bloody gates of perdition opened for a moment, and hell surged into the world.
God protect us! God damn it! I should have gone there too. I could have been some use at least.
I'm always glad to fight by your side, but you wouldn't have changed anything there. There were too many of them. And when the whole street was thronged, there was no stopping it. All we could do was try to hold back Eric's people as long as possible, so the locals could flee to the synagogue. See, there's a hidden tunnel inside it, leading out of the city.
Fucking tunnels! Ugh. But thank Christ for them. What about Liechtenstein?
He's fine. And he managed to get those mysterious documents of his out. He left with the survivors for Colleen.
Praise God. He's from an old and glorious house. It'd be a dreadful pity if he got left behind. The main thing is you got out. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to thank you properly for coming to Malashov for me.
You can easily rectify that here and now.
That's exactly what I intend to do, my brave and faithful companion. First and foremost, be it known that if you should ever similarly find yourself in captivity, I swear before our Lord Jesus Christ that I shall come for you as you came for me. And secondly, I have something here for you. A truly knightly reward for your knightly deed. A hunting bow that has no equal in the province. I hope it'll brighten your thoughts after all those horrors. It can fell the mightiest buck deer and enchant many a doe. And besides, it has attached to it an enlightening history.
Well, I'm honoured. Thank you, friend. Please enlighten me, O noble sir.
According to legend, this bow belonged by right to Margrave Jobst of Moravia, who, however, was not worthy of it. And so, fate decreed that it fell into the hands of a proper knight.
What are you saying?
When I found out that Jobst would gladly leave me locked up, it got my blood up. So, to pay him back, I relieved him of the bow in Raborsch, and it was immediately clear to me that that bow should go to none other than you.
That is certainly just, I'd say.
I knew we'd see eye to eye. It'd be great to try that bow out right away. We could ride out together on the hunt. Wine, bacon, wine, the deep woods, a quiver full of arrows, wine, shoot some deer and celebrate with wine, like we used to do back home.
We only went hunting together once.
But it was memorable. Don't tell me you wouldn't like to do it again. But first duty, then some fun, eh? You'd better be going.
What happened when von Bergov hauled you off after the Nabokov battle?
It was a dreadful journey. Jesus, don't even remind me. It was a bit better in Malashov. Apart from being locked up, of course.
Did anything happen along the way?
No, but it took ages to get to Malashov. 4 or 5 days in that god-awful cart. I was travelling with Von Owlet's minions. They hauled me in one of the wagons. They treated my wounds a bit, but I was still in a really bad way. After that battle and all.
What did they do with you in Malashov?
Nothing much, actually. They took care of my wounds, and then stuck me in a room with Brabant. But they treated me decently, as befits a noble. Von Berghoff came asking questions a couple of times, but that was about it. Only I almost went mad from being cramped in that damned room. It's a good thing you got me out of there.
What was the problem with the room?
That I couldn't get out of there. You saw yourself when you came for me, didn't you? It's just that since Nabokov, when they shot the tower right down on my head and I was stuck there. Well, since then, I don't feel well in cramped spaces. Actually, I never did. I always preferred to be outdoors. But since Nabokov, it's worse than ever. I had a feeling the roof would fall on my head again and I'd be buried alive.
I understand. It's a bit awkward for you that the nobility lives in castles.
That's a fact. Once I get my hands on my estates, I'll build a new castle that only has huge rooms and lots of spacious courtyards. And above all, no secret passages.
Great. I'm really looking forward to this new castle of yours.
You can be the castellan or something. Don't worry, I won't forget you. I'll even have a forge built so you feel right at home.
They didn't let you out at all. But you were in that room for ages.
No. They let us walk around the fortress a bit. We even went out for a ride twice, but they watched us like hawks. Not a chance of escape. But most of the time we were in that room. Like I say, I'm really glad you got me out of that hole.
What did von Berghoff want from you?
Just the usual courtesies. The captivity of nobles has to observe certain formalities, you know? It's not like they could just throw you in some hole. They behaved fairly respectfully, but of course he was fishing for information. About Radzig and Hanush, and especially Jobst. What they're planning, how many men they have on the field, who else they're negotiating with and that.
And what did you tell him?
Nothing that he didn't already know. I played as dumb as the village idiot. I only told him they sent us with that message and discussed the rest when we were gone.
And did he swallow it?
I think he suspected I was bluffing a bit, and then he tried to loosen my tongue by letting me go hungry for a while. But he soon gave up when he saw he was getting nothing more from me.
My word. Nice work keeping him at bay. But the main thing is, you're alive and kicking. And back with us.
Indeed.
What do you make of this Brabant fellow?
He's unquestionably a remarkable knight, that Vakalin. He rambles on a lot, though. My head nearly burst listening to him sometimes. Although it was better than being stuck there alone. Otherwise, he seems to me like a bold and worldly gentleman, if a little obsessed with wealth.
I agree. He seems quite likeable. And he's got a score to settle with Sigismund, like we do.
He certainly has.
How'd you like Devil's Den?
Well, it's better than the Malashov prison, but not much.
Aren't the beds soft enough for his lordship?
I'm more bothered by how small the place is. You feel like the walls are closing in on you. But at least I can go for rides around the area.
Where'd you go for those rides?
Well, not very far, just from... Oh, damn. What's the place called? Horshan? Aye. From Horshan to Bohuniewicz and back. Why go to the ends of the earth when there's so much to see here? I found a nice hunter's camp in the forest beyond Bohuniewicz. It's not exactly close, but it's quiet at least.
Oh, Christ almighty. You haven't started poaching again, have you?
You could say that. This girl from Bohuniewicz took me for a lovely... ride.
Oh, that's enough. Spare me the details.
Thank you. And come again, sir.
A word about...
Aye. Pleasure doing business. God be with you.
Can I? Of course. So the whole... Aye, it must have... Well, I'll have a... Farewell, then.
I'm sorry.
Sir Vaculin, you've had an exciting life. Tell me some stories.
Bien sûr. Your interest is gratifying and quite...
Where does the name Brabant come from?
That is simple. My compatriots call me that because I am originally from Brabant province. And, the name stuck. One day, I shall tell you about my place of birth, but I am sure you will long to hear about the conquest of Arezzo, yes? Or would you rather hear how I saved the King of France from certain death?
Arezzo sounds interesting.
And so it was. That is where I earned my knighthood from the great Enguerrand de Concy himself, the commander of our Naples campaign. Enguerrand arranged his forces for battle, and I was put in charge of one of the cavalry units. Out of nowhere, the enemy appeared on our unprotected flank, and Enguerrand set me to hold them back so our main force could regroup. But I saw a gap in the enemy's main phalanx. I sounded the charge.
Wasn't that rather risky?
Un chevalier français fears nothing.
I reckon King Sigismund would think otherwise after Constantinople.
That was completely different. Alors, I caught them by surprise. I hacked my way to their standard and broke through all the way to the enemy's reserves. My attack sowed confusions in the enemy's ranks that encouraged the overlords who raced to join me, scattering everything in their path. And that is how we won the famous victory at Arezzo. Seeing that the force that was supposed to protect them had been routed. The city then surrendered to us. No doubt you had no inkling at Maleshov what a knight you had the honor to meet. And of course my feats on the field of battle do not end there.
A bold maneuver.
Quite right. Courage is my middle name. Just as Monsieur Chapon says,
So you disobeyed your commander and left your flank exposed? Your attack could have ended in a total fiasco. You were lucky the others came to your assistance and your entire force didn't collapse.
I hear envy speaking, but you are still wet behind the ears. So, I can forgive you. In short, I saw an opportunity and took it. Moments like that can decide entire wars.
What did your commander have to say?
He made me a knight and sent me to the royal court to inform the sovereign of our triumph.
I reckon he wanted to get you out of his hair.
Do not talk nonsense.
What other feats have you performed in?
Oh, many, mon ami. For one battle does not... It would take a week to recount them all, so... On the Italian field, we faced John Hawkwood, a ruthless Englishman, and surrounded, we were at his mercy. Night fell, and we knew he would attack at dawn. But just then, Providence put an idea in my...
Well, don't keep me on tenterhooks. Go on.
Unobserved, I mounted my horse and set off to find help. And, la dame chance, as I rode away, by chance, I stepped it off of our horses. Thinking we were trying to break through, les Anglais went to head them off. But while the English were occupied with my Marseille, our units managed to flee. I saved many men from certain death that night, and many lords from the disgrace of capture. Needless to say, I was generously rewarded for my valor.
That is indeed incredible. But you were just trying to flee, weren't you?
I wanted to bring reinforcements, but as I say, I merely follow Providence, and she guides my steps, from triumph to triumph, wherever I go. Stick close to me, Henri, and Providence will favor you too.
How did you save the King of France?
With Providence as my guide, mon ami, I came to the court from the field of battle to bring news of our victory, because, and remember this, the bearer of good news is always rewarded and cherished. But the king was in a bad mood and did not wish to be disturbed. Maybe I thought the news of our victory will dispel his ill humor.
How could you tell him if he didn't want to be disturbed?
Ha! I climbed up to his balcony and into his chambers to surprise him with the joyful tidings. And lo and behold, the king was writhing and gasping on the floor, overcome by one of his fits. Wasting not a moment, I dashed over to him and unblocked his throat, thus saving his life. In return, the king bestowed on me the title of Échanson, or cupbearer, and other generous gifts. And I then spent a while in his service at court. Unfortunately, though, even the king's favor does not last forever, and minor mistakes can come to overshadow good deeds.
What happened at court that led to you being out of favor?
Well, perhaps I shall tell you some other time.
Lockery and Cargouche. Sounds like a pair of jesters.
En aucun cas. Jacques Le Gris, these two great knights were in a legal dispute over an estate. But above all, when de Carouge was on a campaign, she claimed that he had raped her, while he said he had seduced him. And because everyone swore to their own truth on the first, they jousted. Le Gris thought victory was in his grasp, but de Carouge suddenly pounced on him, wrested him to the ground, and beat him so terribly. Even so, Le Gris refused to admit his guilt, and de Carouge drove a dagger through his neck. And if you promise not to tell, I will let you into a secret about that dagger.
Tell me the secret. I promise I'll keep it to myself.
Bien. As I say, de Carouge killed Le Gris with a dagger. And I found that dagger in the mud after the duel. A blessed blade, an instrument of divine justice. The dagger that ended the last trial by combat France ever witnessed. An item of great value. So, I had several copies made and sold them to rich French noblemen. That is how I first came into wealth. And I used the coin to buy the horse and armor I needed to set off in pursuit of glory in battle.
Ha! That was a good idea. I'd never have thought of that.
You still have a lot to learn, mon ami. But you're young, you have plenty of time. Just keep your mind and eyes open, like I did. It was one of the greatest things I ever saw, and I have seen a lot. Believe me. Half of France came to watch, including the king himself, who then banned trial by combat in France forever. I later told the story to anyone who was interested. One of my listeners, a certain Froissart, wrote my icon down and became famous. I could have written it myself, of course, but I am happy to.
Tell me what happened at court that caused you to lose favour.
Ah, a major setback and de grosse injustice, mon ami.
It's nothing to be ashamed of. We can all learn from our failures. And I bet even your failures...
Oui, I suffered a combination of misfortunes all at once. But, bad luck.
What was the hunting incident?
We were out in the royal hunting grounds when I caught sight of a white stag. There had long been rumors about it, so imagine the prestige. I set off after it, pierced its flank with arrows, and unleashed the hounds to finish it off. When I arrived, it turned out that my aunt had not killed a stag, but the horse of a lady, a court favorite of the queen's. I fell out of her favor, and all the doors became closed to me.
Christ almighty! How could you have mistaken a horse for a stag?
I did not! It was the hounds! The stag must have got away, and in their frenzy they pounced on the poor horse.
That's nonsense.
Oh, why do you say so?
Hunting dogs are trained to go after game. They'd never attack a horse, especially hounds from the royal kennels. You must have made the mistake and set them on the horse.
Well, normally that would be true, of course, but the ounce I was given had some kind of sickness that no doubt they gave me those wants of purpose. A misfortune like that, which could indeed happen to her. But the other lords were afraid I would outshine them, so they were waiting for a chance.
You were in business?
Of course. I come from Brabant province, home to the greatest entre autres. My birthplace gave me an unrivaled nose for corn and the reputation of a financial expert. That is, until I persuaded an important noble all the ships he bought sank in a tempest. He had to sell off part of his estates. Of course, he wrongly blamed me for everything and turned many influential courtiers against me. But my advice was sound. He was simply punished by God for fornicating with every wench from the pier. I told him as much, but some people never admit their mistakes.
A sea voyage from France to Africa? You must have known that was a massive risk.
A risk, perhaps. But think of the fortune to be made. A man must think big if he wants...
Big ideas often lead to big trouble.
Storms, pirates, sea monsters, uncharted waters. It was a disaster waiting to happen, Baron. You should have tried the Baltic trade route.
You are right. That would have been safer. But that is under Hanseatic control and there is too much competition. Africa, mon ami, that is the land of opportunity. The Arabs sell to the Portuguese via Ceuta, and they sell on to us. Just imagine selling further and trading directly with African kings. Remember this, because one day I will be proven...
Tell me about Brabant.
Quite far. From Bohemia, you would go to Bamberg and then follow Then you sail down the Rhone until it reaches the sea. And there, between the river and La Flandre, Anvers, Bruxelles, Louvain, and many others. But those three cities are the equal of Paris, Rome, or both the Dukes of Burgundy and the imperial princes would like to annex our land to theirs. But like everywhere else, you can only come into wealth by birth or by enterprise, which is how I did it.
How did you end up here?
Leaving the court with a modest sum, I launched to visit faraway lands. I traveled a lot, spending time in When I learned that l'Empereur Charles, that great friend of France, had built the magnificent city of Prague.
So people in foreign countries speak highly of Prague?
Bien sûr! It was abroad that I heard of King Wenceslas' Silver City and its reputed vast wealth. I bought the abandoned Miskowitz estates and shares in the Kuttenberg mines. And for a time I settled here to provide for myself and wait for King Wenceslas, whom I wished to serve. But even here fate did not let me be. When Sigismund brought his army to the city, I appointed myself to lead its defense. For how better to make King Wenceslas aware of me than by saving his beloved city? Victory was assured, but the burghers had other ideas. The city was handed over to the enemy, and I with it. stripped of my possessions. I languished in captivity. Until fate again stepped in by sending you.
Sir Vaclin, I'm surprised how well you speak our language. Where did you learn it?
Where do you think? Here, of course. Perhaps I have already mentioned that I am guided by Providence? She endowed me with many talents. Mastery of language, and I can communicate almost everywhere in the world. I now speak French, German, Italian, Latin, Hungarian, and Czech. Some English, though. That is only a necessary evil.
Thanks for sharing your stories with me, Sir Vaclin. What do you think of our band of outcasts?
Well, I cannot say I expected to end up in this kind of company, but a man must accept his...
What do you think of Zizka?
Le Chevalier Jan? Well, he's not doing badly for a minor nobleman, but I think he will never be accepted among the higher nobles and knights. That takes a lot more. Mark my words. I am a good judge of people.
I can't get Catherine out of my head. I don't understand her. I'm sure you have more experience of love than me. What do you make of her? Why is she with us?
Ah, you're right. I am a connoisseur of love like I am of wine. But for my tastes, Mademoiselle Catherine is of somewhat aged vintage. Though, I have to admit she's full-bodied and fragrant.
That's not really what I meant. Why is a woman like her with us?
Là est la question. I had the feeling something terrible happened to her in the past.
So do I. But what?
I have no idea. But she is fond of you, if you ask me. Try asking her, and maybe something will come of it. L'amour.
Oh, come on.
I am a good judge of people, trust me. L'amour.
What do you think of Sir Hynek?
Ah, le diable sec. A capable chevalier. But I do not trust him. There is treachery in his eyes.
You think so?
My instinct rarely lets me down.
How do you get on with Janosch and Adder?
Oh, those two. Once in Kuttenberg, I also had a servant who pretended not to understand me and thought I did not understand him when he spoke German in my presence. But he was wrong. He is no longer my servant.
How do you get on with Sir Hans?
Oh, young Lord Chapon may be inexperienced and hot-headed at times, but he's the one of the few here who knows how to play chess. And I have a great respect for chess players. Needless to say, he has not managed to beat me yet. Godwin and Zizka can also play. And that devil in press clothing beat me. Merde.
Have you met Godwin?
The priest who is very skilled with a sword. Priests should not be such good swordsmen. That is what knights like me are for. In addition, he can play chess just as well as he wields a sword. And in drinking wine, he beats even the best Frenchmen. A man of talents. Or perhaps the devil is behind it.
What do you think of Kubienka?
A good warrior. But he has no morals and no manners, like all mercenaries.
Well, I don't think he cares much about that.
And that is just the problem. How can you trust a man who does not want to be a knight?
Have you had the chance to meet my half-brother yet?
Samuel. It is strange that he joined your... our group. It is not usual for his people. But he's certainly a good reinforcement.
Tell me, how did the siege of Kuttenberg go?
Ah, mon ami, poorly, poorly. But what could I do? Stand down from leading the defense like a coward? After all, I had to live up to my reputation. And at the time, it did not look hopeless at all. I thought it would be enough to stall Sigismund for a while before the Allied army arrived. And that would not have been so difficult.
Only no army arrived.
Précisément. The hope for a swift end melted away. and the courage of the burghers along with it. I, who fought in 5 countries, was relieved of command, arrested, and handed over to Sigismund.
I heard your attack on the trebuchets was a disaster.
It is true, but that was not my fault. The Kurtenbergers blamed me to cover up their own failure. Ces connards. I made the correct decision, but I was given bad intelligence. The Kurtenberg spies that I sent out reported that the trebuchets weren't defended, but they were too cowardly to take a good look from up close. This tragedy would never have happened if it were not for their stupidity and lack of heart. But enough of that. There is no point, as you say, in crying over the spilled milk. In the meantime, however, I can pass on some of my experience to you. After all,
I'd like to learn.
It will take some time, and a few groschen on acquiring my art came at great cost, so especially now when I have been unjustly stripped of my possessions. So, what would you like?
I want to know how French knights wield a...
Eh bien, you, les Bohemians, you fight like the French chevaliers are like stag. They move with the grace and elegance. I will tell you about dolphin and shark some other time. Allons-y, mon ami.
Praise the Lord.
Greetings. Goatskin, there's another thing.
Farewell.
I'd like...
It will take some acquiring, especially what...
As an...
I would on... Allons-y, mon...
I'd like to...
It will acquire, especially what...
Sir...
you will never... Allons-y.
Good day to you.
Where'd you learn how to shoot so well?
Well, where would you say? It wasn't in the royal palace with that flag. It's the result of years of practice. And if they have 2 legs, but I have to admit, each year it gets harder to keep my eye on... That's why I need to drink so much. When I'm properly wasted, it cancels out the shake. And then, my aim's like when I was a lad.
I bring bad news from Kuttenberg. Eric's soldiers and the town rabble have torched the Jew. Fortunately, we saved most of the people. But I doubt they can form an alliance with us now.
Fuck. Where are they now?
Samuel and the rabbi took those who survived to Colleen.
Shit. We have to find Dry Devil and Capon and decide what to do next.
Well, Samuel said he wants to be around for that, and we should wait for him.
I see. But if he's gone to Colin, he won't be back till tomorrow. Oh well. At least we'll have time to get everything ready.
All right. I'll come tomorrow then.